Oh, Egypt. I just realized in a powerful revelation that it ultimately doesn't matter what happens provided that I have proper structure. This is all off of the All One YouTube video series I've been making recently. I recently realized that Prince Rupert drops, the fascinating glass formation that's caused when you use a blowtorch to blow off a piece of molten glass and it drops into water. Prince Rupert drops, these glass structures are able to withstand 15,000 pounds of hydraulic pressure with steel conveying it. They're very, very powerful. If you look at these shapes, the way they do it is they form this high internal pressure state that has the pressure trail out to an end of the feet, or at the end of the Prince Rupert drop. And I realized this, I had this realization ages ago, but it depended on this other realization, and it's like, you can't, these trains of thought ultimately need to be had sequentially, or they can't be had at all, because it's simply not possible to hold that much information in your head at once, because it's like an acted out thing, because the conditions of the previous thought create the preconditions of the next thought. So basically, the Prince Rupert drop solves jiu-jitsu. I mean, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I have this belief that my own internal state being harmonized with truth will inevitably lead to my success. I'm explaining this through the Prince Rupert drop and jiu-jitsu. So I've been thinking about, like, how do you withstand the pressure in jiu-jitsu? Like, how do you, like, when people are getting really good at applying that pressure to you, how do you withstand that? And ultimately, you have to, like, I was looking at the defensive jiu-jitsu of Britt Mickelson, and his stuff is quite innovative because he's realized that you can largely ignore your opponent as long as you deny him space, like the ability to create controlling levers. He can't do anything to you. So I just took this one step further. I don't even think I'm the first one to do this. Most likely there's probably other people who have consciously or unconsciously done this, but I just took it one step further, and I'm just like, okay, well, what if I just have unbreakable posture? I just work at that internal posture so you can't break that posture, and I just do all of my offense and defense from my feet. Like, I just run my feet around, so my feet become the source of the tension that my upper body is using to basically be unpinnable. Because again, I'm trying to be unpinnable, and because if you can't pin me, if you cannot restrict my mobility, then I win. I mean, this is the train of thought that I was using. If you cannot restrict my mobility, then I win. And the business metaphor of this is, if you cannot stop me from speaking, then I win. So if I can create positive internal structure, and then, like, this is the problem with escaping Scarfold. Like, ultimately, this is why I was having trouble escaping my brother Scarfold. It's excellent, but earlier on, I was simply focusing on building structure, and that's what allows you to escape. You have to ignore your opponent. There is no opponent. There's simply you and your structure. If you have structure, you can't be submitted. If you don't have structure, you can be submitted. Ultimately, also, it takes, like, okay, let's put it very strictly. Like, if I can move out of a choke. So for you to choke me, you have to make it so I can't move out of the choke. That is ultimately necessary. So you can even take this to gi. I mean, what about gi chokes? Just grab your own collars. Just grab your own collars and just huddle in. Crunch in and keep everything tight, and you can't be submitted. Then just use your feet and run your feet everywhere. I can't even believe I'm just giving away all of my best information. But here it is. So you just run with your feet, and then everything else emerges out of that, because ultimately that basic posture of your upper body is the same defense, offense, escape, unpinning yourself structure. I don't even know why people get out of that structure. The more I think about it, again, I'm like, why ever leave? I mean, I guess if you're going to throw punches or something, but then there's there's ways of thinking about structure off of that as well, with like the Turkish getup and stuff. But basically, I simply make it so my YouTube videos convey the information that I use to succeed, and my whole company does. Every level of my company is just built off of conveying information that creates positive internal structure. So then I don't have to worry about anything, because you can't stop my mobility. My ability to create movement via my positive internal structure cannot be stopped, and then the business simply goes around doing the same thing as well. And that just makes it inevitably successful. It's just really, it's fascinating how it's ultimately the same thing. I mean, really, I'm thinking like what the end limits are on this. Like, I think it really is. I think with striking, like, you can get hit, but I wonder how much you can just defend based off of your own, like, never thinking of figuring out a way to move without ever leaving perfect defensive posture. Like, if you just move without ever leaving defensive posture, you're fine. Defensive posture is just life posture. It's really, but again, I just extrapolate this out to my life itself. It's like I walk every day, I journal every day, I meditate every day, I drill, I do my jiu-jitsu drills, and I just do that every single day. If you cannot make me leave my perfect posture, and I just keep doing that, I'm unbeatable. I'm just ultimately unbeatable, and then I'll just keep drilling my solo movement drills around posture endlessly. Like, just endlessly drill those, get faster and faster and faster. So I'm just this hypermobile person who can't be restricted in movement. Because there's so many ways for me to submit you that I don't really need to do anything. Like, they'll just emerge as emergent properties out of your failed attempts to control me. And it's the same with neutral. It's like being offensive. Like, I literally just got injured twice in the past 2 months by being offensive. Like, just trying to create offense. Like, there is no such thing as offense. There's just your own internal structure. When you try too hard to create offense, you just leave that. But, like, I don't need to. I can just move with my legs. Because again, there's like, well, what if they attack your legs? It's like, okay, then I engage my upper body to attack them. Well, what do you do when you're in their guard? I just keep my perfect posture and base, and then I just fall on your legs. I just use posture and base to fall on your legs. Like, again, if I'm just better at moving than you, then I'll win. And if not, then I'm better at defending, and then you can tire yourself out, and then I'll win. I don't know how it's gonna work. I think this could literally revolutionize jiu-jitsu. I think it's kind of crazy. I'm like thinking about Prince Rupert drops. I'm just like, how is this? It can withstand basically infinite amounts of weight, and it's glass. I'm like, how is this? It's like the internal structure that ultimately people are gonna look at me. They're like, this guy's insane. But I've had hundreds of competitive grappling matches, and I've won at least 150, maybe 200 competitive grappling matches. I've won a lot of them. I've won a lot of competitive grappling matches. Submitted people, pinned people. Fights, just hundreds of fights. I've had more fights than Bruce Lee, Wesley Snipes, Jackie Chan, the fucking guy who played Apollo Creed. All of these people. I've had more fights than all of these people put together. And it's interesting because I'm just this guy on YouTube. But, like, I was thinking about that. I'm like, why would I, like, as a martial artist, like, I've been dedicated to the journey for like 15 years, and I have hundreds of fights and hundreds of wins. And I'm just like, wow. So, yeah, so just building structure. I don't even want people to watch this video because I don't want people to figure out my game. Like, I don't want it. Like, I just want to win. I want to win easy. I want it to be simple. I don't want it to be hard. I want it to be simple. I just want to win. I fundamentally am lazy, but my brain makes things more complicated than they need to be because I don't know. I just feel like I have to in some sense because I just don't what do you do? What do you do? You know, like, what do you do? What do you do? Do I just not tell people all my secrets? I've already given away all my secrets to my supplement company. So then I'm like, well, I guess I just have to keep making more secrets. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's say I try to not give away all my secrets. Then I feel like I'm just going to be some deluded guy who's just sitting in the corner being like, I have all the secrets. And just nothing works because my life doesn't work. Because again, it's like people come to my YouTube channel and my business and everything. They come to me for the truth. Because the truth will set them free. And ultimately, I can't communicate the truth fast enough to obsolesce myself. So then there's like, you know what I mean? It's weird because I'm like, I don't want to, like, what if I just succeed and then I tell everyone how I did it? And it's like, well, that isn't how it works. Well, why not? Because I don't even know how I'm succeeding. So I have to build the momentum of people kind of wanting to see if my shit works before I actually test if it works. Because if I try to see if it works before I've even built any momentum behind it, it doesn't make it, like, I haven't even tried to articulate it. So I'm not even reaching beyond my own articulated ideas. I'm just hoarding ideas, trying not to, okay, you can either never tell the truth, at which point you're just kind of fucked. Because if you never tell the truth, then like no one's gonna like you and you're gonna like have any allies and nothing's gonna work because you just never told anyone the truth. So now no one even knows who you are or understands you. And you're just this weird person who's just like you're like a homeless person. Just like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one associates with anyone who only lies. So then you have to partially lie and partially tell the truth. But now you're just constantly deciding what to lie about or what to conceal. And it's just all your mental energy goes into lying. Or you can just tell so much of the truth that it confuses the fuck out of people. They have no idea what you're going to do because you've told them everything. And then they're like, well, like, you've already gone through your thought process and it took you your entire thought process to go through your own thought process. But now you're going to allow someone else to go through your entire thought process. And then they have to do that and create their own thought process at the same time as they're copying your thought process while they're not even you. That's a tricky game to play, fellas. So at that point, you're stuck with your own thought process that's partially my thought process, which is really just mind control. So now I'm eternally ahead. But that has created a scenario where I actually benefit by telling everyone how I'm beating them. So now I can continue to use the inertia of figuring out how to win and telling people that to continue to tell people so that it not only helps me win even more, but it actually confuses them as to how I'm doing it. And that, my friends, is called eternal victory.